Welcome back to the online sessions on signals and systems. So in today's session also, we just simply going to carry forward our discussion on finding out the ROCs. And in all these problems, the procedure is going to be same. So same procedure we normally going to, repeat for whatever may be the given problem we're going to have. So once again, let us start with this problem. Consider the signal x of t has been given as e to the power minus 5t into u of t plus e power minus 3 to u of t, and denote its Laplace transform by x of s. Then what about just simply go with what are the constraints placed on the real and imaginary parts of the Laplace transform and find out ROC. Okay. So if ROC of x of s is real part of s greater than minus 3, what is that we normally going to get? So that means more or less we have to simply find out once again the Laplace transform and its ROC. So let us proceed further now. So the given signal is equal to x of t is equal to, this is the signal given. In this signal we have u of t. What is u of t? U of t is known as a unit step signal. So unit step signal is going to vary between is normally going to vary between t is equal to 0 to infinity. Okay, and the value is normally equal to 1 over 0 to infinity. So that is what called u of t. What is u of minus t? The value is normally equal to 1 for the time limits t less than 0. That means t towards infinity. 0 to minus infinity, u of t I can write as equal to u of minus t. So here it is given as u of t. So therefore we'll find out the Laplace transform of the given signal x of t. This is written as equal to x of s. So here finding out the Laplace transform means what? We are simply transforming the signal in time domain. We are transforming the signal in time domain into the frequency domain. So here the frequency domain is represented in S-plane. In the case of Fourier transforms, we represent the frequency domain in terms of j omega axis or j omega domain or a frequency domain. So here we normally represent in S-plane. What is a plane? Plane is a combination of two sheets. Say sigma is equal to, sigma is going to be one axis and j omega is going to be another axis, something like x and y. So if you combine x and y, we normally going to get a plane. Plane is nothing but a piece of paper. Piece of paper is a combination of x quadrant and y quadrant. So you have to imagine this with a piece of paper. Piece of paper is going to have x quadrant, y quadrant. So therefore I can call it as a plane. So similar to that, we're going to have S plane here. We represent the Laplace transform in S plane. That means we convert the time domain signal into the S plane, which is known as the frequency domain, a representation of the time domain signal. Okay. So what is the formula we have? Integral of x of t into e to the power minus st dt. That is the basic formula we have. So what is x of t given? This entire thing is x of t given to us. And we apply the formula over the limits minus infinity to plus infinity. Let's see now how we are expanding this now. This integration has been expanded with say u of t, and this is multiplied with e power minus st. Individually, we are simply expanding this. And after this, what is u of t? U of t is a unit step signal, which is going to have a value 1 over the limits 0 to infinity. Means what? A double-sided signal is simply converted into a single-sided signal. So double-sided means what? Minus infinity to plus infinity is double-sided signal. Why? Because it can be splitted into two. Minus infinity to 0, 0 to plus infinity. Now this we have made into 0 to infinity. So because of u of t, that particular double-sided signal is simply converted into single-sided signal. So please understand this concept, how we have written this step. So u of t is replaced with 1, and this minus infinity to plus infinity is replaced with 0 to infinity, because we have simply considered the existence of u of t in this particular equation. Okay, so because all of the rest of the portions, it is going to be 0, because u of t is not there. When you multiply something with 0, what you get? You simply going to get 0, right? So therefore, over the limits minus infinity to 0, u of t is 0. So 0 into something is 0. Then from the limit 0 to infinity, u of t value is equal to 1. So therefore 1 into something is going to be that something. So therefore we have got this particular equation, right? The next plus what we can have now here, integral, same story here also, e power minus 3t into 1 into e to the power minus st dt over the limit 0 to infinity. And same thing here, minus infinity to 0, there is no u of t, therefore 0 into u of t value is 0 or the limits minus infinity to 0, then therefore that particular limit has been simply excluded here. Okay, so this is what the integration we have. Just simply solve the integration now, e to the power minus t form. So e to the power minus nt, so I can write this as e to the power minus nt by n over the applied limits, over the given limits. We apply the limits 0 to infinity. So here into the onto the e to the power minus, what we have, minus of s plus 5. I can take minus s common here. I can write this as s plus 5. And here also I can take minus s common. I can write s plus 3 here of t. So therefore the integration of this is going to be what now, e power minus nt by minus n form. So therefore I'll expand this in this particular format. And finally we just, after expanding, we apply the limits. So e to the power minus infinity is 0. So this factor goes for upper limit. Lower limit is going to be what now? It's going to be e to the power minus 0. That means it is going to be equal to 1. So it's going to be minus into minus becomes plus. So I'll be having something like 1 by s plus 5. Similarly here, upper limit minus lower limit. So lower limit is going to be minus already there. So minus into minus plus. So obviously same thing here, 1 by s plus 3 that I'll be having over here. So here, what is that you have to understand here is that if you have e to the power minus of something in the denominator, we get s in terms of positive sign, s plus 5. If you got a plus here, we'll be having s minus 5. So that you have to understand here. So that means here, once you have this equation directly, you can just simply write this equation. If you know that particular step, you can skip this test, no problem. Even if you write, no problem. So okay, so therefore the final equation is what now, 1 by s plus 5 plus 1 by s plus 3 I can have. So we'll find out about ROC now. What about ROC now? See here the limits. The limits are going to be now 0 to infinity. So the limits are 0 to infinity means what? T is going to take the positive values. So therefore the real part of s plus 5 should be greater than 0. And the real part of s plus 3 should be compulsorily greater than 0 in order to trace the ROC. That is called region of convergence. Okay. So therefore, in this scenario, what I can have now, s will be greater than minus 5 and s is going to be greater than minus 3. So real part of s is nothing but sigma. So therefore, sigma greater than minus 3 and sigma greater than minus 5 that I can write. So that means these two has to be now included in the equation for the ROC. So when you include these two, what are the limits now? It is going to lie between minus 3 and minus 5. That means left side of the plane, the ROC is going to exist on the left side of the plane. So it is not drawn here, you can draw here. So here ROC is going to lie to the left side of the. Now look at here, I can just draw this particular plane now. This plane is going to have what? This plane is going to have, say, sigma, and the y-axis is going to be, say, j into omega. So j omega, this is what a plane I have. If you consider sigma and j omega, I'm normally going to get a plane. So I'll be getting 4 planes, something like a, uh, you know, 4 different coordinate systems, 4 different quadrants. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. Like that, the values are going to exist in all the various quadrants. Now, what are the values of s? This first one, this center one is going to be what now? 0 for us. Whatever I have after 0 is going to be plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. So I'll be having here 1. I'll be having here 2. Okay. So like that, I'll be having here minus 1. Okay. I'll be having minus 1. I'll be having so on up to minus 3. I can write this as minus 3. Okay. So I can write this as minus 3. And I'll be having here as, say, minus 5. So these are the various values I'll be having now, minus 5. And what about the region of convergence that I'll be having here? Let us look into that now. So minus 3, the value is going to lie between minus 3. This is minus 3 plane. This is going to be minus 5. Sigma is equal to minus 3 constant line. Sigma is equal to minus 5 constant line. Now, what about the region of convergence now? The region of convergence is going to lie in between these two, minus 3 and minus 5. So that means the solution of this particular system is going to lie only in these particular limits. In all rest of the other locations, the solution does not exist. See, this is what the advantage that we get when you really compare this with the Fourier transforms. So in Fourier transforms, what is it we have? In Fourier transform, we don't have a sigma axis. We got only j omega axis. So that means if the value has to exist, it has to exist for the entire j omega axis. That's the problem we have in the the Fourier transforms representation. So if the value is not going to stay in all the that means the solution does not going to exist in all the values of j omega, then the Fourier transform will fail to represent that type of a system. Whereas coming to the Laplace transforms, the Laplace transform, see this Laplace transform now, the value of the system is going to exist. The solution of the system is going to exist only in this range. This is what the benefit that we're going to get when you normally going to find out the Laplace transforms in comparison to the Fourier transforms. So this is what we normally going to have it here. Okay. So I think you have understood the concept here of this particular ROC over here. Okay. Now we can move on to another problem now. You can just move on to the another problem now. That's going to be like let us look into another problem now. That is going to be x of t is equal to e to the power minus a mod t. Okay. And determine the ROC. Let us see this particular problem now. So x of t is given as equal to e power minus a mod t. So mod t means what? T is going to take positive as well as negative values. If for t greater than 0, t is definitely going to take the positive values. That means that the limits for t is going to extend between 0 to infinity. So therefore t is going to take positive values. If t is going to take positive values, what is the expression we can write? Exponential equation e power minus a t. If t is equal to 0, it will be 1. If t is less than 0 means what? T is extending from 0 to minus infinity. So the value of t will be minus t. So therefore minus into minus becomes plus, e power plus at. We can simply write it over here. So now find out the Laplace transform. Laplace transform x of t is equal to general formula is x of s, integral of x of t into e power minus st dt. That is the formula we have. So what is x of t is equal to e power minus a mod t into e power st dt. So same equation is simply going to continue here. So after this, what I'm going to have, see the equation here. Now I'm extending this equation for minus infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity. So minus infinity to 0 minus, that means 0 minus is the value just before 0, just before t is equal to 0. 0 plus is going to be just after t is equal to 0. That means almost it's going to be 0 only. Okay, so minus infinity to 0 and 0 minus to 0 plus, 0 to infinity, same equation I'll write. So for minus infinity to 0 minus, that means t is taking minus value. When t is taking minus values, it is going to be power plus 80. I can write rest of the formula as it is. Then when t is equal to 0, what is that? I'll be having 1. 1 means what? Upper limit, lower limit, it's going to be simply 1 minus 1. Same equation I'll be same value I'm going to get. 1 minus 1 becomes 0. So this particular integration becomes equal to 0. Then next one is going to be 0 to infinity. When t is taking positive values, I'll be having e power minus 80. Just simply solve this equation now. Taking minus common, I'll write s minus a of t. And plus, I can just take minus common, s plus a of t I can write. Okay. So here, I can just find out here, these limits. This limit is for minus infinity to 0. This limit is going to be 0 to infinity. 0 to infinity I can write. Okay. So this we have to keep in the mind. That means the first one is the result of, applying limits minus infinity to 0. That is what very important and essential for us. Why? Because the condition we apply here is according to this particular limits only. Okay. So for simplicity's sake, I can just simply consider this e power minus of something over the limits minus and plus infinity, I will just simply flip those limits. I can consider this as 0 to infinity by flipping this minus to plus here, dt. And this equation is 0 to infinity only, I can just have it. So I can just have it like something e power minus e power, okay. So you can do it in this fashion, or you can keep it like this only. You can keep it like this only as well, where I can write this as a minus and plus infinity. So it is up to us to really going to consider now. Okay. So once if I write this, what I'll be having here as integral of e power s minus a of t dt. So I can write this as e power s minus a of t by s minus a over the limit 0 to infinity. And this is going to be something like e power minus this same factor I'm going to have 0 to infinity. So here I can just simply write this as, now that means if even if you solve in the same fashion, you get the same relationship. Let us solve with the above one. E power minus infinity plus infinity means what? Integration of this is equal to e power minus of s minus a of t by minus of s minus a, and the limits is going to be 0. If you apply, that's going to be 1 minus 1. Here I'll be having minus e power minus infinity. I'll be putting over here minus into minus plus, that's going to be infinity. Now e power infinity is equal to, so by solving this equation, now we can write, now we'll keep it like this only. This is one way of solving. Another, the directly we can just solve now. So integral of this is equal to what I can write now, e power minus of s minus a t by minus of s minus a, can write over the limits minus infinity to 0. So first upper limit is 0. 0 means what? E power something like 0. I have that, that's going to be 1. So it's going to be 1 by minus of s minus a, I can take it outside. Minus of 1 by s minus a, I can take it outside. Minus into minus plus here. So minus of what I can have here as over the limits as minus infinity. That means this entire t is going to be minus infinity. So you take here entire t as equal to minus infinity. So e power minus infinity I'll get. So e power minus infinity is equal to 0. So this part is normally going to vanish. And next here, this part is going to be 0 to infinity. So first part is 0. E to the power minus infinity is 0. So this part goes first of all, minus into minus plus here by 1 by s plus a. So therefore I'll be having minus of minus 1 by s minus a plus 1 by s plus a I'll get. Okay, so this is the equation I'm normally going to have. And the first one, the first expression is for the limits t tends to minus infinity to 0. Second one is will be from t extends from 0 to plus infinity. So therefore this s minus a, look into the denominator part, s minus a less than 0. Why it is less than 0? Because t is going into infinity. The value of t will be going towards, the value of t is going towards infinity, minus are going towards minus infinity. So therefore it should be minus infinity means what? Less than 0. So you should give a less than 0 value. And s plus a should be greater than 0 because t is extending from 0 to plus infinity. Here in this equation, in this solution, t is extending between 0 to minus infinity. Therefore, it should be less than 0, it should be greater than 0. This less than 0, greater than 0 is purely based on the limits that is really going to spread across. Right. So therefore, finally, what I can have now, this s is going to be less than a. Here s is going to be greater than minus a. So therefore, s is going to lie between minus a to a. So real part of s should lie between minus a to a. What is real part of s? It is going to be the sigma axis. So therefore, sigma minus a, say sigma plus a. It is going to lie in between sigma minus a and plus a. That means all this sectioned values, this scratched value, we normally going to have the solution of the equation. Okay. So this is what the ROC for this particular signal. Similarly, let us go into the next one, inverted unit step signal. So x of t is equal to u of minus t. What is u of minus t? The value of u of minus t would be equal to 1 for all t less than 0. For all t greater than 0, the value is equal to 0. There is no signal here. There is no signal. Okay, so that means we are simply finding out the inverted reversed unit step signal. What is the non-inverted unit step signal? For t greater than or equal to 0, the value would be 1 like this. The value would be something like this. Let us see the value now, how the value has to be like in this. So what is this signal now? This is going to be like for this is going to be like for t greater than 0. Okay, this is going to be for t greater than 0, which is going to be u of t. But what is given u of minus t means for u of minus t is this one. So we are looking for this particular signal, right? So this is what we'll be looking into now. Okay, so this is the signal that we are going to have now. So therefore, let us find out Laplace transform of this the reversal unit step signal. So Laplace transform x of t is equal to x of s. General formula is going to be integral of x of t into e power minus st. So x of t is equal to u of minus t. U of minus t is, limits are going to be what now? Minus infinity to 0. Minus infinity to 0, you're going to have the value equal to 1 for the unit step signal. So that replace u of minus t by 1 over the limits minus infinity to 0. Over the limits minus infinity to 0. This is where we have to you calculate the ROC. Okay. So let us go ahead now. So I can replace this. I can invert this minus and plus infinity to 0 to infinity by removing this minus, by inverting this e power minus st by e power plus st. Then applying integration, same formula we have, e power minus st by s over the limits minus infinity to 0. So definitely it's going to be like, e power st. What is e power st? It's going to be 1 by s over the limits minus infinity to 0. The value is going to be minus infinity to 0. Or otherwise, directly you can find out from this equation. It's going to be e power minus st. That means e power minus st by minus s. So apply limits t is equal to 0. It's going to be minus 1 by s. I'll be having. So next one is going to be my e power minus infinity limits. So straight away the t is minus only. So therefore let us don't substitute t is equal to minus infinity. Minus into minus becomes plus. You will think like that. So minus infinity, that means t is taking values minus t. So the entire t is going to be minus only. So therefore e power minus infinity will get. Therefore that value becomes equal to 0. So when you solve, what you get now? Minus 1 by s. So no need to convert this into 0 to infinity. Just simply straight away get into this. Otherwise, once again, you have to revert back your equation, put minus n here, all this stuff you have to do. Otherwise, straight away use this particular equation to get into the final solution. That's equal to minus 1 by s. Now, what should be the ROC now? The ROC should be real part of s should be compulsorily less than 0. Real part of s less than 0. So what is 0? This is the 0 line. This line is nothing but the 0 line for us. So less than 0 is going to be this entire region. So this entire region, the ROC is going to exist in this particular entire region for us. Okay. So therefore, the ROC is normally going to exist in the entire region for us like this. Now let us look into this problem, which is a combination of e power minus at u of t and minus of e power minus bt into u of minus t. It is a combination of these two kind of signals. Now when these two are kind of signals are simply combined, if you see carefully, this signal and including this minus signal is going to result us the same value in the S domain. But coming to ROCs, ROCs will differ. This is what I was talking to you. So the confusion here in Laplace transforms is that even though the Laplace transforms looks to be same, but ROCs will be different. Sometimes ROCs are going to be same, but Laplace transforms are going to be look different little bit. So this is what the case where the Laplace transforms are going to be same, but ROCs are going to be different. Okay, let us look into this problem now. X of t is given as like this equation. So I can write Laplace transform x of t is equal to x of s. General formula I have x of t into e power minus st dt. X of t is equal to this entire formula I have. Let us substitute this particular thing over here. So while substituting this equation, what I can have, integral of minus infinity plus infinity e power minus a t u of t into e power minus st dt minus of same integration of e power to the power minus b t u of minus t e power minus st dt. So u of minus t is equal to 1 over the limits minus infinity to 0. And here this is going to be u of plus t. So therefore limits are going to be 0 to infinity. So these two are important steps for us. So after that, simply finding out the integrations. So finding out the integrations means what? I can take minus as common here. I can write s plus a of t integral of integral of e to the power minus of s plus a of t dt. I can write here as minus of s plus b of t dt. So just I'll just go to this particular step over here, minus of this. So what about the integration of this? E power minus of s minus a of t by minus of s plus a of t over the limit 0 to infinity. And here I can take minus of the same factor now. Same thing I'll be having here. Minus of s plus b I'll be having. So minus of s plus b I can just take over the limits minus infinity plus infinity. It has been inverted here. Once again, the reinverted fashion has been taken. But straight away I'm taking the limits with respect to that. So here I'll be having e power minus infinity. Okay, it's equal to 0. So therefore minus of into minus, I'll be having plus here 1 by s plus c I can write. Okay, or otherwise I can take minus of 1 by s plus a, just taken outside, apply limits here to this. E power minus into 0, minus of e power 0 will be equal to 1. So minus into minus plus, I'll be having 1 by s plus a. Similar to this, I can just have it here as something like, minus of, okay, this factor is minus of minus into minus, I'll be having plus here, e power minus, that means apply limits here, t is equal to 0. So therefore I'll be having s plus b here. So I can just have s plus b here, and this is going to be e power minus t part, that will be equal to 0. So therefore I will finally reaching to a solution where the solution is going to be 1 by s plus a plus 1 by s plus b. Now if you forget about the limits, what you are seeing? You are seeing only 1 by s plus a and 1 by s plus b. So the Laplace transforms equations for these two are looking to be same for us, and we are simply adding them. So if you don't find out ROC, then we'll be confused about these two. So therefore you have to find out ROC here. Now these limits are going to extend from 0 to infinity. Therefore the ROC, the real part of it, should be greater than 0 here. These limits are going to extend from minus infinity to 0. Therefore the real part of this should be compulsorily less than 0, because limits are extending from minus infinity to 0. So therefore I can write s plus a greater than 0 and s plus b less than 0 as the limits for the ROC. So s is greater than minus a, and definitely s is going to be less than minus b. So s is going to lie between minus a to minus b. So this is what the beauty of this Laplace transforms. Okay. So how I can really draw this now? Minus, see here, minus a, s is lying between minus a and minus b. So minus a, that means minus a is less than minus b. Okay, so that means minus b is greater than minus a. So therefore I'll be going more into deeper into the minus t axis for minus a, and less deeper into minus infinity for minus b. So I'll be getting two limits here, and the ROC is going to lie in between these two lines. So this is what a case which is very important for us, a special case here for to represent the same ROC, same Laplace transforms with different ROCs. So with this, we just come to an end to the problems on the ROC, and other problems you can solve in the similar grounds. So I can take this as homework. Anyway, I'll share these notes to you all. You can just simply solve this as a note, these two problems. Okay. In the next session, we'll try to complete the properties of the Laplace transforms. So once you know the properties of the Fourier transforms, the properties of Laplace transforms is also going to be almost all same. as the properties of the Fourier transforms. If you know for properties of Fourier transforms very well, Laplace transforms is simply a replica of the Fourier transforms properties of the Fourier transforms. So properties of Laplace transforms are the replica of the properties of the Fourier transforms. If you know one, you can do other very, very easily. So therefore, please try to look into this with the, with the comparative statements, so that you can straight away come to the solutions. Okay. So thank you very much for the today's session.